is Caroline Afonso, and I'm a sophomore here at Ursuline. Now, most people who know me know that I'm not the most prepared person in the world. So, when I found out that I was giving this speech at Acceptance Students Night, I may have left it to the last minute. So, right at the end of the day today, at 2:44, I rushed over to my favorite Chinese restaurant, Mandarin Gourmet. Now, you may be wondering, Caroline, why would you go to a Chinese restaurant when you should be writing your speech? Well, good question, and good thing I've got an answer for you. I went to Mandarin Gourmet for one purpose and one purpose only: to get a fortune cookie, so that I could read it for my speech. Now, if we could all please bow our heads and pray that this makes sense, I'd appreciate it. Kidding, kidding, kidding. I go to Ursuline Academy, and you think I'm not prepared? Please. Prepared has been my middle name since I've gotten to Ursuline. Now, picking just one of my many stories about Ursuline was really difficult for me, but I decided to tell the story of how it all began. Just to set the scene for you guys, it's the summer before 7th grade year, 2014, 4 long years ago. Little old Caroline is an incoming 7th grader not knowing anybody. When I say I knew no one, no distant cousin, no dogs, friends, neighbors, uncle's daughter, no one. However, my mom and all my aunts had gone to Ursuline back in the 80s. And they had left a multitude of state championships in swimming for me to follow up. I was also a pretty experienced swimmer at the time, so what did I decide to do? Try out for a sport I had no experience with: volleyball. I had never seen it on TV, didn't know anyone who played. All I had heard of is the sport volleyball. Showing up to tryouts, I was extremely nervous. Till this day, I can still not recall a time where I was more nervous than at 7th grade volleyball tryouts. My mom had to shove me through the door. When I say shove, there was no, okay, Caroline, if you don't want to, we don't have to, we can go home. I got shoved. To the other girls in the room, it probably looked like I tripped over myself walking in. So after starting off on that great note, I realized I was the only girl in the entire gym not wearing these funky-looking squares on my knees. I would later learn these are called knee pads. Yes, I was not wearing knee pads. For those of you who aren't familiar with the sport of volleyball, not wearing knee pads in volleyball is equivalent to not wearing pads for hockey or shin guards for soccer. So there I am, embarrassed because I tripped into the room and stood out from everyone else because I wasn't wearing knee pads. Believe it or not, I had a blast throughout the tryouts. All the coaches were wicked nice. I'm from Boston. And all the kids were super welcoming, especially the seniors. Amongst this, one thing stood out. As I was packing up all my stuff, and by stuff, I mean the water bottle I brought to make it look like I knew what I was doing, one of the senior captains began to approach me. All I could think of is, oh geez, what do I say, what do I do, how do I greet her, and most importantly, don't embarrass yourself, Caroline. I had done enough of that for the day. Her name was Eleni, and Eleni was wearing knee pads, so clearly she knew what she was doing. She said she had a friend that looked exactly like me. After she talked about volleyball stuff, and I continuously nodded my head as if I knew anything she was talking about, she asked me if I was nervous or excited for the first day of school that was just around the corner. I said I was extremely nervous because I knew nobody. It was at that point she told me she wished her friend that was also a senior was there so that I would have 2 people to say hi to on the first day. I could only thank God she was not there. Meeting one senior was enough for me. Anyway, I'd also signed up for swim tryouts, which were directly after volleyball tryouts. So my mom and I jumped in the car and rushed over to the pool where the swim tryouts were being held. I vividly remember pausing before jumping out of the car. I reflected on the amazing day I had and how I had already made friends with a senior. It was in that moment I knew I had found my sport. So I told my mom I did not want to try out for swimming. And don't worry, guys, there was no shoving involved this time. I had enough bruises from not wearing knee pads. Fast forward to the first day of school in 7th grade. Little old Caroline is walking around the UA halls for the very first time in this lovely plaid green skirt. Before I can even enter my homeroom, I hear a loud shout of my name down the hallway. Sure enough, it's Eleni. Eleni introduces me to the girl that looks just like me, and she was right. We look pretty similar. She was really nice. Her name was Shannon. Looking back on this experience, seeing Eleni come up to me and talking to me as if there wasn't a 6-year age difference and making me feel wicked comfortable with this new part of my life was a huge deal. But now I've been at Ursuline for 4 years, and I cannot name one girl in the entire school that would not do exactly what Eleni did if given the chance. And looking back on my first experience with volleyball, I'm extremely happy that I stuck to it. This year, I was able to be a starter on our varsity volleyball team in our state semifinal game. I was standing on that end line right there, listening to our national anthem play. I reflected on all the points that had gotten me there, one of them being Eleni. I cannot wait until I can pass on what Eleni did to me. So, my point here is this. Come to Ursuline. This is a place where you can try new things, step out of your comfort zone, and always know you have your girls to back you up. I have friends that do sailing, robotics, coding, Model UN, you name it. They never tried any of this before coming to Ursuline, because at Ursuline, no one's holding you back from trying new things and reaching your goals. Maybe you'll even try out for a sport you never heard of before. Just don't forget your knee pads. And one thing you don't need if you come to Ursuline is a fortune cookie, because at Ursuline, you know your future is bright. Thank you.